But since you are like lukewarm water, neither hot nor cold, I will spit you out of my mouth. Revelations 3:16. This is a Bible verse that motivated me to move out of being a lukewarm Christian and heading into a life that's fully centered around God. If you've been here before, you know that my usual content is cleaning motivation, but lately I've been feeling this urge. I don't know how else to explain it, but I feel like I need to make a change in this platform and center my videos around me finding God again and living a life that honors Him. I don't know why He chose me because honestly, I feel like I don't have the knowledge or even the wording for things, but I just want to bring you guys along with me. I feel like this is what He's calling me to do. And maybe there's someone out there who needs to hear this message, who also needs to follow a life with God. So if you feel like this is you, I encourage you to stay and join me in this new journey because I could use all the support. I'm the kind of person that doesn't like to bring up politics or religion because I know that people have differences and opinions, and I don't like to stir the pot. And I hate saying it, but I'm a people pleaser. And I feel like I have to get out of that and voice my little voice and share about God's love. I've been a Christian, I've been Catholic since I was little. My parents and we would always go to church on Sundays. We were there at the front row every single Sunday. My parents would also attend and have us go like once a week during the week to church or, some sort of gathering event. So going to church has been in my roots. Once I got married, things slowly changed. It wasn't overnight. It just kind of happened because my husband didn't grow up going to church. 3 years ago, after I had my firstborn, I felt like I needed to go to church as a family. And so my husband wanted to go to a Christian church, which I agreed to because I think that your relationship with God is more important than religion. We've been going to this church for quite some time now. And just recently, I have felt, I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's almost like a veil has uncovered from my eyes. Like from one day to the next, nothing in particular has happened. I think it's just God speaking to me. I've been seeing how wrong I've been, especially because I grew up going to church. I grew up in a community who, like, I know better. I'm going to read you this verse that I found, and it's on Isaiah 29:13. These people come near to me with their mouth and honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. Their worship of me is based on merely human rules that they have been taught. And that just tells me that I can go to church on Sundays. I could be a good person. But if my relationship with God isn't there, how am I going to be saved? I consider myself a good person. I don't cuss. I go to church on Sundays. But just because you go to church on Sundays and just because you do the right thing doesn't mean that you're automatically accepted into heaven. You have to build a relationship with Him so He knows you. And once you're there at the end of time and you're dead and you're knocking at the gate of heaven, He knows who you are. And more than likely, He'll reach out and just, hey, come on into my house. This is my crib. And it's going to be a great time. That is where you're going to be the rest of your life. And not just some 70, 80, 90 years. This is eternity that we're talking about. All right, so this next part of the video is not sponsored, but I wanted to show you guys because it's helped me so much in my life lately. This is the Ozotech cordless wet dry vacuum cleaner. Very nice, very easy to use. It comes with different settings. It gives you like the battery life. I'll show you guys here in just a bit, but it'll give you the battery life. There's different modes. It has a self-cleaning mode, so as soon as you're done, you can just place it back in and it'll clean. Another cool feature that it has is that it's able to go underneath my table. Fits perfectly. It's not turned on right now, but I'll show you guys in just a bit. So I'm gonna be cleaning up our lunch. So this is what it looks like after, and it's really nice because it can literally pick up anything from spills to dry food or, anything like that. So I'll show you guys right now. And it does have a little bit of water from last night since I was cleaning the floor. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that, but you'll just fill it up to that water there and then put a cap full of the solution and you just pop it back in and then you're ready to start. Careful, buddy. This is a solution that it came with, so that was very nice of them to include that in there. Okay, I'm not exaggerating when I say that I love this thing. I honestly mean it, and I wish that every mom could get one of these. This has just been such a breeze to clean up any mess, any spills, everything. This picks up everything. Now, I will admit that this was gifted to me, and I was opening the box expecting nothing major, like anything that's gifted. You don't really know what to expect. My standards are pretty low. But when I started using this, man, oh man, just the quality of it feels so great in your hands. I've been personally reached out by a couple family members of mine to ask the downfall of it. And every time I tell them there's nothing wrong with it. Really, I love it. The only downfall, if I had to choose a downfall, is if you are a person who forgets to empty the disposal, it's going to stink the next day. And I know this because it happened to me and I came back the next day to use it and it stinked. So obviously it's a given though, like how are you going to leave your dirty mop water in there? So that's the only downfall that I have. I do have a code if you guys are interested, and I'll provide the link so you guys could use that coupon code. All right, so back to what we were talking about. One of the things that I've been struggling with is being a mom, and not just being a mom, being a good mom. One of my boys, he's very active. He is fearless. He is wild. And I struggle with him a lot. I feel like I was just like, God, please help me. I think that I was expecting a miracle to happen. I was expecting him to change my son. And I don't think that that's going to happen. I think that the reality is I have to look at the situation from a different lens. I have to realize that he's still a child. He's learning. And most importantly, he's learning from how I respond to that. Because I can go on and on and on and tell you guys that he deserved it. I was very patient with him, but then he pushed my buttons X amount of times. Like, he's still a child at the end of the day. I have to be the adult here, and I have to show him from right and wrong. The devil at the end of the day wants to persuade us into thinking these negative thoughts about parenthood, motherhood, and that's just not the way that we should be feeling. And when I get frustrated, I don't want him to see me yelling. I don't want him to see me super upset because that's the enemy. He wants to win over me. Children are a blessing from him. We should be enjoying this time. I need to be a good mom, a good Christian mom. And we should be doing our best to live a life that is centered around God. And so I'm bringing you guys along with me on this journey. And it's not easy for me. It's really hard to go against the grain, especially when your significant other isn't on the same page as you are, like the seriousness of it, but nothing worth having comes easy. And if you were to meet me in person, I'm very much an introverted person. I don't like to be the center of attention. So to think that I have to go out and find a group of people to, like surround myself with is really hard. But I took my first baby step this week and I reached out to volunteer in the classroom on Sundays. So I'm just waiting to hear on the next steps for that. My next goal is to join a group, and that group meets once a week. And it's a little bit hard with my schedule and the kids because they do meet later in the evening. My husband's schedule alternates every week, so I could make it every other week, but not every week unless I hire a babysitter. Um, so I don't know how that's going to work out, but we'll figure it out. I'm trusting him fully. I know that he is never wrong. And if he uses me to get to someone out there, then he uses me, and I've completed his mission. There's also a lot of work that I need to change within me. I've even noticed things like the way that I dress, the way that I talk, the way that, I carry myself. There's so much change that I have to do. Part of me doesn't want to change because I'm used to my old ways. Change is really hard, especially when you feel like you're the only one following these rules. I shouldn't even call them rules, they're more like teachings. Which brings me to my next topic about religion. And I mentioned this earlier, but I personally don't think that there's a right or wrong religion. I feel like anyone can read the Bible and have different interpretations of what it says. And that's ultimately how these groups or like religions came about. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's basically the gist of my understanding. I think that there can be truth to different religions, but I personally think that there's no better way than reading the Bible yourself and figuring out which religion best aligns with your interpretations from the readings. I haven't read the entire Bible. I've only read a couple chapters, but that's something that I want to start doing daily. We can't just rely on what others tell us to think. We have to look at scriptures. So get your Bibles and, start reading, whether that's 10 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day. I don't know how long I'll have, but my goal for the beginning right now is going to be about 5 minutes per day. I started waking up and doing devotionals, which has been really nice to start the day off just feeling really great about the day and being optimistic, but I do want to start incorporating, reading the Bible itself. So I challenge you guys to start making a change this week, whether that's opening up the Bible, praying, or whatever it is. If you are joining me, let me know in the comments down below if you are starting out as well. And if you're already on this journey, feel free to share any tips, additional information, or correct me on anything I said if you feel like I said something wrong. I'm learning basically from the ground up, so I'm open to any constructive criticism. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and decide to stay on this side of Christian YouTube. Love you guys, God bless, and I'll chat with you guys next week.